Hello, and welcome to day 3 of Summerween. If you missed the first vlog that I posted earlier this week, I'll have it linked down below, but I vlogged the first 2 days in its own vlog. This is the second vlog for Summerween, and then I'll also be posting a third vlog later this week. And if you're new here, hello, you might not know, but Summerween is a spooky readathon that I host every summer in the month of July usually. And it's basically just a readathon that's all about bringing the spooky vibes of Halloween into the summertime. And so if you're coming from my last vlog, you might know that I ended up finishing The Haar last night. I read like the last 50 pages after I finally finished editing the vlog, and you know, as expected, this was 5 stars. I loved this so freaking much. This book really pulled on my heartstrings, and I'm not gonna lie, like the final line of this really made me emotional. Like my eyes totally filled up with tears, and I also just really appreciated the afterword in this book because the author kind of like talks about his own grandmother and how she kind of like inspired the character in this book, which I just thought was so sweet and so touching. I feel like this is one of those rare horror books for me that like really moves me and like affects me emotionally. I feel like it's not often that a horror book is able to achieve that, but I feel like with this one it really did. But also like don't get it twisted, because this book is so gory and graphic in a way that was like truly disturbing. Like there is some really disgusting, grotesque imagery in this book that will stay with me. There's also a lot of different like trigger warnings. Like there's a lot of different scenes that involve like self-harm and just like really intense violence on the body. Like there is some really tough to read things happening in this book, but I also just think it was so up my alley with like what I tend to like in horror books. And so I'm so glad that this was a 5-star. Like it is so rare that I have 5 stars for my own Summerween readathon. Like it is so rare that I actually read a 5 stars. So like we're off to a great start so far. I've been thinking today that maybe it would be a good time to pick up The Forgotten Island because, you know, since this was a 5-star and this is written by the same author, I feel like this would be a good one to read next. And if I'm correct, I do think that this one is actually this author's debut book. At least when I was looking at a list of all the books that this author has published, The Forgotten Island is the first one mentioned. And then this one, The Haar, is one of his more recently published books. I don't know if it's too much of a stretch to say that this book has a night sky on the cover. I mean, there's like a little moon here and it looks like some trees. So like maybe this could count for the prompt of like reading a book with a night sky on the cover. I mean, I don't really know if this book fits into any of the prompts, to be honest. Like I'm not totally sure. But I'm glad that I read it anyways because I had a huge win with this. Last night, as you might have known from my last vlogs that I've been posting, I've been having like a major bad GERD flare-up in these last few days. And last night was one of the worst GERD flare-ups I've ever experienced in my life, to be honest. Like I was really miserable last night. I was actually getting kind of nervous because it was getting to the point where it was like hurting to swallow, like really bad. Like my throat just felt like it was on fire. I was getting all of like my typical GERD flare-up symptoms, which is crazy because I didn't even eat anything that bad yesterday. And then I was like tricking myself into thinking that I couldn't breathe because it was like happening in my throat. And then I think that was just my anxiety tricking me into thinking that I couldn't breathe when I could breathe. I was just starting to freak out a little bit. I'm just scared because it feels like I have like something stuck in my throat. Like that's how it feels right now, and it's making it really hard to swallow. And it's like really scaring me because like I know like a common symptom of GERD is feeling like there's something stuck in your throat. So I'm like, is there actually something there? Or am I just like thinking there's something there and it's actually just not? And you know what's so annoying too? Another thing that's making this week extra challenging is that the day before Summerween started on 4th of July, my car popped up with this like random alert that was like, check engine, there's some kind of difficulty with like the control panel. I don't know, something's going on with my car, and it said to call the Toyota dealership. And I was like, oh my god, like are you fucking kidding me? Because like my car's fairly new, you know, like I bought it in 2021. It's a 2020 car, so like it's a fairly new car and it's never given me issues this far. And so yesterday I ended up having to call the Toyota dealership and they're not able to get me in until Wednesday. So now I'm just kind of like, oh my god, because I'm like, should I even be driving my car when the check engine light is on and when it's like giving me all these scary messages? Like I don't really know. So now I feel like I can't really drive anywhere. I mean, my sister said she did want to go to the lake with me if I do end up going tomorrow. And so like my sister can take me with her car tomorrow so we can still go to the lake and like do fun, you know, summer activities. But I'm like, dude, this week is just like trying to break me, you know? Like this week has just been so frustrating with like my car not being reliable this week. And then like my throat is trying to take me out. Like how rude during Summerween. Honestly, like this is so rude of my body and my car. But anyways, I think I'm going to start on The Forgotten Island. Also, I wanted to update because it's now about 4:15 in the afternoon and I've just been laying in bed most of the afternoon reading The Forgotten Island. Earlier today, I literally made this oatmeal that was literally just like water with oats. It was like the most bland oatmeal you could ever imagine in your whole life, but that's literally all that I've eaten so far today with some water because my throat is still killing me, but I'm trying to push through it. I also ended up going to Safeway with my sister because she needed to pick up a few things and I was like, well, I need to get some stuff that's like GERD safe or like things that I can eat with GERD that don't trigger me really bad. So I got a lot more oatmeal. I got like bananas, apples, like some fresh fruit and stuff. But I think I'm only going to be able to eat oatmeal today with like how bad my throat hurt. I just really don't want to push it, you know, like I don't want to risk it. Anyways, I have been reading The Forgotten Island and I just hit page 100, so I thought now would be a good time to update you. I'm excited to let you know that this one is also going very well so far. I'm really intrigued by this one. There's something about this author's writing style and like the way that he writes his characters, I just really connect to it right away. What's really interesting too about this one is that in this story we're following these two sisters named Anna and Rachel, and they're both taking this trip in Thailand, which is really cool. They're both originally from Scotland, but this one takes place in Thailand, and like I don't know for sure if it takes place in the summer or not, but this definitely feels like it's taking place during the summer because like the Thailand atmosphere is really strong and like the island vibes are very strong. That's pretty cool. I feel like this one is actually perfect to be reading for this readathon, but it's really cool because we start with a prologue that's these guys who are working on this island. They're like a hole opens up in the island and it starts to like swallow these people whole, and they think that there's like monsters or like something happened, but they never knew the full story of like what happened, and there was only one man who escaped from this island. But then it says even 30 years later, like he was not the same after his experience on this island, and he never told anybody what actually happened on this island until the day he died. And then even on that day that he died, nobody really believed him, or they thought that he was like losing his mind. And so now this takes place in the future where we're following, you know, these tourists who are in Thailand, Anna and Rachel. And you know what's so crazy about these two sisters? I mean, obviously like I have a sister named Rachel, so like that's already like kind of a weird coincidence. But then she also says at 28 years old, she was only 2 years older than Rachel, which like first of all, that's fucking weird because I'm 29 years old and I'm 2 years older than my sister Rachel. So I'm like, whoa, what are the chances? I like how it says Anna liked to pretend she had wisdom far beyond her years when really it had been Rachel who had saved her all those months ago. And I feel like that's kind of accurate for like me and Rachel because I feel like a lot of people think that Rachel's actually the older sister because I feel like she gives off that vibe, like she has like a lot of wisdom and they're all traveling together. And so Anna keeps talking about how she like feels like a third wheel because she's like traveling with her sister and her boyfriend, what happened the night before. But when they wake up, they're only in like their bras and underwear basically, like they're almost completely nude and they're on this boat that's like out in the middle of nowhere. And then they stumble upon this island that I'm guessing is like the Forgotten Island. And then I think it's about how they start to suspect that something creepy might be happening. It's interesting though because the sisters are the only ones that got separated, so like the sisters are the ones who are like on the boat and like discovering this island, whereas like the guy Paul, who's like Rachel's boyfriend in this book, he is still back on the beach and he's like trying to figure out how to track them down because he doesn't know where they went. So we do get his point of view in some parts, and like his point of view is just like, oh my god, the worst, because he's so toxic and like just gross in general. So often in horror books, there'll be these like disgusting, gross, toxic men and then nothing ever happens to them, you know? But I love that so far with this author, at least with my experience with this author so far, it's that he'll write about these gross, toxic men and then it's like they'll get exactly what they deserve. You know, like they'll be the first ones murdered. And so that's kind of the vibe that I'm feeling that we're going into with this book so far. I'm only 100 pages in, so not too much has happened yet, but I'm already just really liking the vibes and the plot. I'm already invested, so like I'm really impressed. I feel like I'm gonna need to check out more books by this author if this one ends up going just as well. I mean, I don't know if this book has the same like 5-star potential for me as The Horror did when I read it yesterday, but I'm having a good time, and that's all that matters. But anyway, because it's getting a little bit later in the day, I'm not too sure, you know, what I'm gonna be doing as far as like dinner goes tonight. I'm probably just gonna have like freaking oatmeal again because I don't want to risk it tonight. But I think me and my sister, we might end up watching more of The Mole because The Mole is a reality game show that's on Netflix that we're really obsessed with. We actually watched The Mole like back when we were kids. Now Netflix is like rebooting the show The Mole that was like really popular back in like either the 90s or the early 2000s. And it's really fun. I really love this show, so they just uploaded the next 3 episodes, so we're gonna watch those tonight probably. it is pretty much the end of day 3 of Summerween. Today has been pretty rough, I can tell you that. It's about 9 o'clock at night right now. I'm actually sitting in front of the window because the sun is just now starting to go down. You know, living in Washington in the summer is really wild because the sun doesn't really go down until almost 10 o'clock at night here. But yeah, today has been a little bit rough in terms of like my GERD and my throat and how I'm just like not feeling very well. For dinner, I had the most bland oatmeal of all time and like half of a banana, and so I'm hoping that tonight goes well for me and that my throat doesn't act up any more than it already has. As far as a reading update goes, I've still been reading a little bit of The Forgotten Island. I'm only 109 pages in, so I still have about 200 pages to go with this one, so I think I'm going to put this one on pause for now and try to finish this one up tomorrow. But I think tonight it might be fun to try to get to some of the manga that I have on my TBR that I, checked out from the library that I've been wanting to get to this week. I have both of these from Junji Ito that I haven't read yet. This one's called Black Paradox, and then this one's called Venus in the Blind Spot. I was thinking maybe I should do Venus in the Blind Spot because this actually has 5 words in the title. So like this one could definitely check off the prompt for like reading a book with 5 or more words in the title. So maybe I'll have to go with this one. Then I'm hoping that by tomorrow morning I'm feeling well enough to go to the lake with my sister because I feel like I could really use a lake day because I've just been cooped up in the apartment so much over these last 3 days. But anyways, I'll see you in the morning. Good morning and happy day 4 of Summerween. I'm coming at you this morning with some really great news all around because my GERD this morning, oh my gosh, I woke up feeling so much better today. I mean, at least this morning when I woke up, I feel like I can swallow and there's like no pain when I swallow. So like that is a huge win for me. I mean, I'm obviously still going to be taking it super easy with food today because I don't want to risk what just happened happening again, but I am feeling a little bit better with my throat. So like that is a huge win for me. I really needed this right now. I am going to be going to the lake with my sister today and I'm so excited about it. But I did want to update you too because last night I ended up reading Venus in the Blind Spot by Junji Ito, and I think I'm gonna give this like 4.5 stars. I don't think it was like the perfect 5 stars, but I had such a good time with this. I didn't know that this is actually another one of his like short story collections. So this one has 10 different short stories in it, which is so cool because I love Junji Ito's short stories. I feel like he does them very well. And while all 10 of these did not work for me, there were so many of them that did. And I feel like Junji Ito just has such interesting and like cool creative ideas. There are some that just had some of the creepiest imagery I've ever seen. Like there was a few times where I was flipping the page and I was like scared to flip the page because there would be like a jump scare on the next page. But I especially loved the stories Billions Alone. I loved Venus in the Blind Spot, The Licking Woman. I feel like those 3 are especially going to stick with me just because the ideas in them were so freaking cool and so freaking disgusting. Oh my god, some of the imagery in here, ugh. I feel like Junji Ito is just so good at the illustrations that will stick into your head and make you like disgusted. You know, he has a lot of really good like body horror, and that's why he's one of my favorites and why I continue to read his books. So I'm so glad that this one ended up being a huge success, a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And that's amazing. I'm so glad I decided to pick this one up for this readathon because I think it was perfect. Anyways, today I am planning on continuing with The Forgotten Island. I'm hoping that I can finish this one up today. I have about 200-ish pages left, but I'm gonna take this one to the lake and read it with me at the lake. I think my sister is gonna be reading the new Riley Sager while we're at the lake. Anyways, I'm gonna change out of this shirt and let's get the day started.
You need these shots. They're vital. They're the heart of the vlog.
Oh, those people gone. It's so hard to read on your stomach.
Oh yeah, why would you do that?
Hello. Oh. Sorry. Taylor Swift. Hello, good afternoon. It's now like 2:30 in the afternoon and we just spent the entire, you know, day pretty much out on the lake for a few hours. Rachel's car says that it's 94 degrees right now, which is pretty toasty. It doesn't feel like it's that hot though when you're actually like standing on the lake because there's a good breeze, you know, like it doesn't feel too hot, but it is toasty outside today, that's for sure. Down by the lake, I was reading The Forgotten Island. I got up to page 214, so I have like a little bit less than 100 pages left. I'm still really enjoying this. And then Rachel's also been reading the new Riley Sager today. She's like, what, 50 pages in?
Yeah, 55.
55 pages in, and so far it's going...
Alright.
Alright. So far it's going alright. It was so cute though. There were like these little girls chilling out right next to us by the lake, and I swear they were like mini versions of me and Rachel. Like it was so cute. Like they both had their little like string cheese, which was definitely something that Rachel used to love as a kid. And then like one of the girls looked like she had a little Kindle and she like could not be bothered.
Yeah.
It was just adorable. Like they just reminded me a lot of like me and Rachel, especially because the little girl, she had like your same haircut with like the blonde bangs and like the short light blonde hair. Oh my god. It was so cute.
Literally us. And the older one had like the golden long hair.
Yeah, like they literally had the same hair that we did when we were younger too. It was so adorable. I was like, literally, that's mini me and you right next to us. So it was a good time, but anyways, we're gonna be heading home and hopefully I can finish my book when we get home. How exciting. Okay, just got home from the lake and I'm so stupid because I had a banana in my backpack and I think I was like laying really hard on my backpack when I had the pillow like over my backpack, so I squished the banana in my bag and like it got all over the front of this book sleeve, which is so annoying, but at the same time like, hey, at least I put it in a book sleeve, right? And it didn't get the books all covered in bananas because like that would have been gross. It's like, damn it, I'm gonna have to figure out how to wash this. But it's okay because my apple that I also put in my bag did not get squished. Anyways, I just got home and I got 2 packages and I think they might be book mail, so I thought I would just open them on camera. Let's see, what is this first one? What is it? Oh! It's Lady Killer. Oh, this is so perfect actually. Okay, Random House sent this one. It says, when a young woman vanishes from her remote Greek island estate, her best friend races to find her using clues in the explosive manuscript she left behind. Wow, that's pretty cool. It takes place in Greece. This sounds like the perfect thriller for the summertime. So thank you to Random House for sending me this one. And what is this other one? Oh, wow. Ooh, oh my gosh, it's that other summery thriller. Whoa, okay, I was not expecting to receive this one. It's Bad Taurus. Wait, and there's other cool stuff in here. No way, wait, they actually sent the real Malibu rum. Oh my gosh, that's actually like so iconic of them. How cool. God, how cute. So they sent this little card that has a recipe. I think this is like a recipe for like an alcoholic beverage, and that's probably why they sent this. And then on the back, it's like a cute little map. Wow, that is so freaking cool. And like how exciting, because I had recently just heard about this book. And this one says we follow 3 tight-knit friends, Darcy, Camila, and Kate, as they escape for an extravagant divorce trip in the Maldives. Oh my gosh, and one of them is a wellness influencer, of course. And then one of them is also an author. She's working on the book she's meant to write after years of ghostwriting other people's stories. How perfect. I feel like both of these honestly give me like such summer thriller vibes. Shit, should I read one of these for Summerween? I don't know, but I am very intrigued by both of these, so like how freaking cool. Thank you so much to Simon & Schuster for sending me this one. I was not expecting this. Anyways, the plan for right now is to sit here and finish reading this book because it's going very well so far and I'm having a fun time with it, so let's do it. Okay, it's now like 4:30 in the afternoon and I just finished reading The Forgotten Island. Whoa, dude, this book was wild. I feel like if you're the kind of person who has a fear of spiders, especially, then I feel like this might be a tough read for you because wow, I am pretty scared of spiders myself, and I feel like this book just like really heightened my fear of spiders. But I ended up really loving this. Like, I don't know, there's something about this author's writing style that just really works for me. I love there was this one part where the character was like, could this trip get any fucking worse? And then it says, it could, and it was about to. That almost kind of feels like Stephen King to me, where it's kind of like the author's writing this book with the knowledge of like what happens in the future. So it's almost like they're making commentary on like, oh, they thought that was the worst of it, but like what was really worse was coming ahead, or like, you know, things like that. It's like that foreshadowing in the writing that I just really love. Also, some of the descriptions in this book, holy shit. I feel like this book might have even been more graphic than the horror. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I feel like both of these books were so graphic when it comes to horror. The horrific elements of these books are truly disturbing, and like the body horror and the gore and the way that it's written is very grotesque. Like, it's a lot. But I also just had such a good time with this. I really liked the characters in this one too. I think I'm gonna end up giving this one 4 stars. Like, I don't think I loved this one as much as the horror because I didn't connect with the characters as much in this one as I did with that other one. And I also think for me personally, you know, because this one's about like a little over 300 pages long, some of the action at the end just felt like it was dragging out a little bit longer than it needed to. I feel like this could have been a 5-star perfect read for me if the ending had been cut down by like maybe 30 or 50 pages. Like, I don't know, the ending just started to drag a little bit. There were some scenes that were starting to feel a little bit repetitive, but then like the very ending of this book, I loved it. I thought the ending of this book was freaking perfection. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one 4 stars, which, like, how exciting is that? We have another win for this readathon. This one also, oh my gosh, it reminds me of a few different things. I mean, one of the things that I thought of right away with this book is that it kind of reminds me of The Shuddering by Anya Alborn, just in the way that we're following this group of people who went on this vacation and then shit really hits the fan, and the way that it's really just straight up like action, horror. Like, there's a lot of gore and things happening on the page, but you care enough about the characters that you really care about like what's happening to them. And I feel like this is perfect because like I feel like The Forgotten Island is perfect for Summerween because it has like the island summer vibes, and then, you know, The Shuddering is so perfect for like winter time and like Winterween because that one is like very snowy atmosphere, you know, it takes place in the mountains. And then I feel like in some ways The Forgotten Island definitely reminded me of The Troop, especially like things that were happening towards the end of The Forgotten Island definitely reminded me of The Troop. And it also reminded me too of that book The Ruins. I feel like it's probably even more similar to The Ruins, and even though I didn't really care for The Ruins myself, I actually DNF'd that one, but I feel like this is everything that I wanted The Ruins to be when I read it. Because, you know, the premise of The Ruins I feel like is very similar to this one, where we're like, we have a group of friends who are going to like a foreign country on vacation, and then shit just really hits the fan, and there's a lot of body horror and things are very grotesque. And I feel like this one is just very similar in that way, but I personally preferred this one over The Ruins. But that is so exciting. Like, I'm definitely gonna have to check out more books from this author because of these 2 books that I just read this week that were like a huge success. But anyways, I think I'm actually going to wrap up the vlog here. I know it's still kind of early in the night, like it's only 4:30. The rest of this night, I'm literally just gonna make like the most boring dinner of all time probably. I'm still gonna be playing it like super safe because of my GERD. Like, I don't want to risk anything acting up. And then I think me and my sister, we're gonna watch more of that show called Presumed Innocent, which is the one on Apple TV with Jake Gyllenhaal. We're like 3 episodes in. I think we have 2 more that we need to watch, so we're probably gonna watch those tonight. And then pretty much the rest of the night, I'm just gonna spend editing the rest of this vlog so that I can get this vlog ready to go up tomorrow. But yeah, the rest of Summerween should be pretty fun. I mean, tomorrow, I do have plans with my friend Katie and Josh, and we're gonna be going out to the lake and like hanging out at another lake. So I know I'm getting like back-to-back lake days, which is very exciting. But I think tomorrow we might actually go like swimming and shit. Like, we might actually go into the lake, and so it should be a fun time. And then also like the day after that, I'm gonna have to take my car in to go get checked at the dealership to like make sure nothing's wrong with my car and the check engine light, so that should be a totally fun time. I'm really hoping that nothing's severely wrong with my car and that it's a quick fix. And then for these next 3 days, as far as my reading plans go, I mean, I guess you'll have to find out because I don't really know what I'm in the mood to read yet. I think I do for sure want to read the new Ruth Ware, that book One Perfect Couple, but I'm still waiting on my Book of the Month box to get here because my Book of the Month box has that book in it, and now it's showing that my Book of the Month box might not get here until Wednesday the 10th. So like maybe that'll be the last thing that I read for Summerween. I don't really know. But thank you so much for watching. You'll have to let me know how Summerween is going for you so far if you've been participating. How many books have you read? What is the best book that you've read so far? And you can expect one more Summerween vlog coming from me. It's probably going to be posted on the 12th and it's going to include days 5, 6, and 7. So hopefully we can finish out this readathon strong. Yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye!